You may have a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men. Although I have the same list as the dear Duchess of Bolton. We work together, in fact. Although I am willing to enter your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I am glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London. How old are you?
29.
A very good age to be married at. I have always been of opinion that a man who desires to get married should either know everything or nothing. Which do you know, Mr. Worthing?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tempers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate, exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious violence to the upper classes, and probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
And that is satisfactory. Between what is expected of one during one's life and what is exacted of one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and keeps one from keeping it up. That is all that can be said about land.
I have a country house with some land, of course, attached to it. Between about 1,500 acres, I believe. But I don't depend on that for my real income. In fact, near as I can make out, the poachers are the only ones who make anything out of it.
A country house. How many bedrooms? That point can be dealt with afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature, like Gwendolyn, can hardly be expected to reside in the country.
Well, I have a house in Belgrave Square. It is let by the year to Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can have it back whenever I like, at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham, I do not know her.
She goes about very little. She's a lady considerably advanced in years.
But nowadays, that is no guarantee of the respectability of character. What's number in Belgrave Square?
149?
The unfashionable side. I thought there must be some. However, that can be altered easily.
The fashion or the side?
Both if necessary, I presume. Now, what are your politics?
Well, I'm afraid I really have none. I'm a liberal unionist.
They count as Tories. They dine with us or come in the evening at any rate. And now as to the minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent may be counted as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
Well, I'm afraid I don't really know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I had lost both my parents. It would be near the truth to say that they seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. You see, I was found.
Found?
Yes, the late Mr. Thomas Carter, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kindly nature, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket to Worthing in his pocket at the time. You see, Worthing is a place in Sussex. It's a seaside resort.
And where did this elderly gentleman of a charitable nature with a first-class ticket to a seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I was in a handbag. A somewhat large, black leather handbag with handles to it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
And family members as soon as possible, and produce, at any rate, one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
Well, I don't see how I could possibly manage to do that. I could produce a handbag at any moment. If my clothes were